Well, our defence and security analyst, Michael Clarke, joins me in the studio now. And Michael, it doesn't feel like 12 months, does it? It's flown by, and what a 12 months it's been. What are your reflections on this?
Yeah, Jane, in warfare, the wheels turn very quickly, which is why it doesn't feel like 12 months. And those who initiate war must be careful what they wish for, because Hamas, with the atrocity on the 7th of October last year, tried to initiate a regional war against Israel. And what they've now got is a regional war against Iran. So they've got half of what they wanted. They've got a regional war in which the boot is now on the other foot. And it's Iran who is now in the crosshairs of Israeli action. And that's only really happened since the 27th of July, which was the beginning of this latest round of retaliation with the attack on Majal Shams in the Golan Heights, the Druze playground. And as a result of that attack, which is almost certainly a mistake, actually, but as a result of that attack, Israel said, right, we go after Hezbollah. So the Israelis are saying, we've gone after Hamas, and they haven't finished there. I mean, the war in Gaza is still going on, and Deir al-Balak is still being attacked today as we speak. But they've gone after Hezbollah since the 27th of July, and because of that, the Iranians have retaliated, so they're now going after Iran. So Hamas have got the regional war that they wanted, and they are at an enormous disadvantage. So the wheel has come full circle. Question for the Israelis is, will they push it too far? Their danger is hubris. And the problem is that if the Israelis can't win a short war, they can't fight a long one. Their economy is too small. And so if they get themselves into a no war, no peace situation across the whole region, ultimately they might lose it. And that's their problem. Can't win a short war, can't fight a long one. So where is the happy point in the middle where they say we can now remake the Middle East? I mean, the Israeli ambassador to Britain on the radio this morning was saying, we have a chance to remake the Middle East. Well, fine. On what basis? Where's your plan? At the moment, they can remake the Middle East militarily, but military victory is only the prelude to something else, to some political arrangement. We don't know what that might look like.
And any military victory for Israel would be dependent on support from other countries, including America. How would you view their response over the last 12 months?
It's been disastrous for the United States. We knew that US power over events in the Middle East was declining. It's been declining for some years. But my goodness, it's declined quickly this year. And the personal animosity, the underlying animosity between Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, and Joe Biden, the American president, is very palpable. In an election year, any American president needs this like a hole in the head. Conspiracy theorists will always say America's all behind it. That's rubbish. This is exactly what American presidents do not need in an election year. And Joe Biden has made a series of statements which Netanyahu has privately agreed to and then done the opposite. So first of all, Biden said, effectively, he said, look, we know what you're going to do in Gaza. It'll be awful. Get it over by Christmas. And a year later, still doing it. He said, in January, don't go into Rafah. And they went into Rafah. He said, there is no silver bullet in attacking Hezbollah. Don't try to attack Hezbollah. They've attacked Hezbollah. They've said, whatever you do with Hezbollah, you must have a 21-day ceasefire. No 21-day ceasefire. Even though Netanyahu appeared privately to agree to it, he then went public and said, no, we're not going to do it. And at every turn, the hostage deal, I mean, they were very close to a hostage deal 2 or 3 times. It is widely believed that it was Netanyahu who pulled the plug on the deal when they were close, at least twice. They've been close about 5 times. Never happened. There was one deal in November, which released more than 100 hostages, and everyone said that's a model for the future. America wanted 2 things out of this crisis. They said, first of all, we want to create a day-after plan. So if there's going to be a war, we must have a plan for the day after. Maybe something good could come out of this. That was what they started with. That's gone completely. The second thing, we must contain this war. We must keep it to Gaza. That's gone completely. So the 2 essential American objectives, a day-after plan of some sort of political deal for the future, and keeping the war contained, both have gone. And America is now literally the dog whose tail is being wagged by the Israelis. That's the way the world sees it. And to be honest, it's doing the Americans doing Biden immense harm. Michigan, one of the 7 key swing states, has got a big Arab population. The Democrats are tanking in Michigan because of this. I mean, Biden or the Democrats may lose the election thanks to Netanyahu. And Netanyahu likes that idea because he'd like a Trump presidency.
Meanwhile, of course, Iran is looking on all of this, possibly rubbing its hands with glee in one respect before the attacks on Hezbollah. How do you think they viewed what's happened over the last 12 months?
The Iranians are in a real problem because, in a sense, their strategy as a series of bluffs has been called pretty thoroughly, certainly in the last couple of months. Their strategy was always low risk. They're not going to, risk anything across the Middle East. Like, Iran's a huge country. It's a very big country with a distinguished, wonderful 2,000-year history as the Persian Empire. I mean, it's got a great culture. Iran is a really important country in the region. But since the Iranian Revolution of 1979, it has tried to not so much remake the country as remake the region. And Iran's strategy has been to work through proxies, low risk, proxies that can pressurise Israel, pressurise the West. And those proxies are being dismantled by Israeli action and by Western support for Israeli action. So now the Iranians are dealing with a great loss of faith among their supporters, a great crisis of confidence, and their own domestic economy is in a bad way. They've got a leadership problem at the top. Ayatollah Khamenei is 84, 85 years old. He's not going to be around for much longer. And Pezeshkian, the new president, is a reformist, but he's not. He's being sidelined. So Iran is not in a good position to take a strong stance, and it's being pushed relentlessly backwards politically by the whole crisis.
Michael, always fascinating to talk to you. Thanks very much. Thanks a lot.